House of the Dragon, Episode 9. Episode 9 offered quite a different episode to what we've had, especially compared to last week, and I thought it was one of the weaker ones of the series, but by no means poor, as it stayed entirely in King's Landing, focusing on the High Towers and Alicent's children. I did make a bit of a mistake last week in regards to the ending with Viserys and what he was saying to Alicent. I got a bit confused about what was really going on there. Of course, the situation was that he was mentioning Aegon's prophecy once again because he thought he was talking to Rhaenyra, but in fact he wasn't. He was talking to Alicent, and she interpreted it as him saying that Aegon, their son, should be his heir and sit the Iron Throne, which is what has caused this to occur. This pivotal, huge moment that's going to set up everything that's to come. So Alicent's intent here is actually what she thinks to be genuine by putting her son Aegon on the throne. Her father's is less so, as Otto wants to wipe out Rhaenyra and Daemon and everything on that side. But regardless, Alicent wants Aegon to be crowned before any type of word can reach Rhaenyra and reach Dragonstone, so it's still sly from her. Of course, she's doing it because she wants to avoid any conflict before what she thinks is Viserys' wishes can be accomplished. But, you know, it's still sly, and because word is not going to be reaching Rhaenyra and Daemon in this episode, we don't get to see them, which is a shame because Matt Smith pretty much steals every scene he's in, so it was a shame that we didn't get to see those characters today, but I understand the necessity to really focus on King's Landing this episode. We get a long build up to them trying to find Aegon, eventually doing so, and he doesn't want to be king whilst his brother Aemond does, but once Aegon is crowned, you can see the hunger for power just sort of fill him up and overtake him as he sees that these people are worshipping him, essentially, and I just like how you can see that it's kind of overtaken him in that instant. I also want to say Aemond is really fucking cool. I love his look. He's one of the most sinister looking characters I've ever seen, and I hope we get to see a lot of him in future. But in regards to Aegon, he will probably be a terrible, cruel king, but we'll see how that pans out. Regardless, this whole plot is sneaky and treasonous, and the peace under Viserys was literally gone in an instant, in a day, in half a day. Just gone. Of course, Rhaenys remained in King's Landing where she was being stifled and kept locked away, but a good lad from the King's Guard, unsure which one, I didn't catch his name, helped her escape so she could get to her dragon. You know, he, like other members of the King's Guard and, you know, other people on the council, were not happy with how things were panning out. They saw it as treasonous and they think that Rhaenyra should still be the one sitting the throne. But yeah, Rhaenys was badass when she erupted through the floor during the coronation. You know, no fucks given. She doesn't care about the people of King's Landing. Fair enough. And here in this moment, she had the opportunity to put an end to it all before it even properly starts. She had every member of that family in front of her to burn to a crisp. All she had to say was Dracarys. And God knows we all wanted her to say it, but she doesn't do it. And You just think no one is ever going to get an opportunity as good as that to stop this happening. Daemon wouldn't have hesitated. I'm just saying. But I assume Rhaenys is going to Dragonstone to inform Rhaenyra and Daemon of what's taken place, because maybe Rhaenys just feels it isn't her job to deal with this and to kill everyone. Maybe she believes there is still some sort of civil way that this can be resolved without everyone killing everyone. Unlikely, but we'll see. This episode was more of a setup for what is to come, not the most exciting as we see Larys and his foot fetish, but it does set things in motion for what should be an epic finale, bound to leave us on a cliffhanger because it's really just the start of this conflict, and even so it hasn't properly started yet, but it's about to start really. So you just feel like they're going to leave it on a pretty mad cliffhanger, and then we're going to have to wait, and it's going to be painful, but that's the way it goes. I think last week's episode, episode 8, is unlikely to be top this season. I thought that was just such a good episode, and obviously this episode had no Viserys, who we're no longer going to get. It had no Rhaenyra, and it had no Daemon, so I think it was always going to feel just a little bit hollow compared to previous episodes, but it was still a solid episode, setting things up well, and, you know, next week's finale should be an interesting one. I would give today's episode an 8 out of 10. Not bad by any means, just not exceptional, but the bar's been set very high in previous episodes, so I think you can only expect so much. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.